Good evening. Stefan is off tonight. We begin with how federal public servants are about to spend a little bit more time in the office. The government is changing the hybrid work rules and expanding its return to office mandate. Letters were sent out to workers in core federal departments today informing them of the changes. Starting on May 4th, executives will have to be in the office 5 days a week. That's up from the current 4. And starting July 6th, all other employees will be required on site for a minimum of 4 days a week. That's up from 3 days. It was something that the Prime Minister hinted could be coming late last year. The Treasury Board says working together on site is essential for strong teams and collaboration, which it says is needed during this pivotal moment as the government works on strengthening the country. But the Professional Institute of the Public Service of Canada, a union representing thousands of workers, says this, on top of the layoffs, is causing a lot of anxiety within the federal public service.
I just find this just insulting and disrespectful to be doing this to public servants after everything we've gone through the past few months. And I don't understand how this mandate is increasing productivity in the public service. I think it's only going to hinder it.
The Treasury Board Secretariat says it will meet with unions to discuss the concerns about assigned seating and health and safety. Public Service and Procurement Canada is also set to work with federal departments to make sure there's adequate office space for all employees. Canadian cities are competing to host a proposed international defense bank. A headquarters tied to billions in future security investment. Mayor Mark Sutcliffe says it should be built right here in the National Capital Region, where there is already a rapidly growing defense sector. CTV's Caitlin Wilson reports.
This is at approximately 35,000 kilometers away from the Earth.
Telesat is preparing for its biggest program yet, sending close to 200 satellites into orbit as part of the largest space program in the country.
Whether you're a ship in the middle of the ocean, a plane in the high Arctic, or a base here in Ottawa, all that connectivity needs to come back and be able to speak to each other, and that's what we're going to enable.
And supporters say technology like this is why Ottawa-Gatineau is the best region to host a proposed international defense bank.
We have a very strong defense sector here. We're connected to all of the embassies from around the world. This is going to be an international institution. All of the foreign missions are here in Ottawa.
But Ottawa isn't the only city making its case. This week, mayors are in the capital for the Big City Mayors Conference, including Montreal, which is also bidding for the same headquarters.
We're one of the rare places in the world we can actually assemble a plane from A to Z. You know, the position on Ontario saying we want to build the future of defense, we have the defense industry right now. We don't need to build it.
Toronto is in the race too, backed by Ontario's Premier Doug Ford. The proposed bank would help finance defense and security projects among allied countries. If successful, it could bring thousands of jobs.
That would be a big boost for our economy, and it would offset some of the jobs that we might be losing in the federal public service.
At the same time, momentum is building for Ottawa to position itself as the country's defense innovation hub. That effort is anchored by Area XO, a test facility for robotics, drones, and autonomous vehicles.
We harness here combination of strengths that don't exist anywhere else in the country, from our 330 companies that are anchored in defense to the Bank of Canada and all the sovereign financial institutions federally.
But in the end, it won't be the cities that have the final say. That job will go to the federal government to decide which city is best suited to put forward as a bid.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
Well, after a brief disruption during the evening commute, service has fully resumed along the O Trains Line 1. All eastbound trains were stopped between St. Laurent and Blair stations. OC Transpo says the disruption was because of a switch issue. Service was down for about an hour and restored shortly after 7:30. And Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe paid a visit here to the CTV News studios this evening to discuss public transit troubles that OC Transpo have been facing, as well as some of the backlash from riders.
It's frustrating, and you know, we've got issues with the buses, and our riders, our passengers deserve better service than they're getting right now. But the team at OC Transpo is doing everything possible to protect their safety, to deal with these issues.
Sutcliffe joined our Patricia Bowl on CTV News at 6, adding more trains are coming back soon and that more buses are on the way. On this one-on-one interview, he also discussed his calls to host the National Defence Bank and return to office for federal public servants. You can watch the full interview on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. All right, we'll take our first check of the weather right now. That's a look at the Rideau Canal behind me. CTV's Jackie Perez standing by for our first look. Jackie.
Well, after another gorgeous day here in the capital, we are anticipating snow moving through eastern Ontario. This is going to happen in the early hours of Friday morning, but it's going to be light flurries. It's not until the evening, though, that we could start to see heavier snowfall. But again, we are anticipating 3 to 5 centimeters, so we're keeping a close eye on this. Temperature-wise, though, still in for another mild day. -5 will be the daytime high, but we are starting things off at -11. Again, the chance of flurries will transition into snow for later this evening, or tomorrow evening, I should say. We'll have a closer look at your long-term forecast in just a bit. Kimberly.
Well, thank you, Jackie. Now to the impaired driving trial of Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff. We're seeing for the first time tonight video taken inside the police cell block of Luloff, providing breath samples after being arrested in July of 2024. He's pleaded not guilty to all charges against him. CTV's Katie Griffin reports.
I'll just get you to sit here.
Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff at the Elgin Street Police Station.
I'm a local politician who's running for federal office, so you can think whatever you want to say. But this is not going to be good for you. Big breath in and blow out, like you said.
This video of Luloff providing a breath sample after being arrested in July 2024 for alleged impaired driving was filed as an exhibit in court. It's allowed to be publicized now after CTV News and other media outlets argued it should be released as a matter of public record.
Was there any collision involved in your drive home?
No, literally in my garage, ready to walk into my house. And these guys, came to my house.
Luloff has pleaded not guilty to all charges against him. Audio played in court from a 911 caller reporting a suspected drunk driver was also released.
I was driving behind them and beside them. They almost smashed into me and they were driving on the curb and just swerving everywhere.
The witness following a Jeep from a Wendy's drive-thru to a home.
Some of it starts with, have you been drinking, yes or no?
I'm not answering that question. No. I have been eating Wendy's and trying to go to bed is what I've been doing.
The breath technician tells Luloff he's twice blown double the legal limit and he'll be charged with his license temporarily suspended and vehicle impounded.
So I'm trying to figure out how to take my kids to daycare in the morning.
Luloff's lawyer wants what his client said to the breath technician in the video and the test results to be thrown out, alleging several breaches of Luloff's charter rights before he even got to the police station.
I think the most important thing is even the breathalyzer technician confirmed in her evidence that but for the test results, she noted no effects of alcohol on Mr. Luloff.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
An elderly man was injured when his vehicle crashed into a retaining wall at the Ottawa Hospital Riverside campus. Emergency crews were called to the hospital on Riverside Drive around 7:35 this morning. The vehicle struck a retaining wall in the parking lot. Paramedics treated the driver at the scene. He was brought to hospital in stable condition, and there was no impact to operations at Riverside campus. A G2 driver won't be on the road for a while after getting stopped for stunt driving. Ottawa police officers caught the driver doing 165 kilometers an hour on Highway 174 near 10th Line Road Wednesday morning. The speed limit there is 100. And a Kingston driver is facing charges after getting stopped going more than double the speed limit. The driver was caught in the area of John Counter Boulevard and Sir John A. Macdonald Boulevard on Wednesday night. Police say the driver was going 128 kilometers in a 50 zone. The 53-year-old driver was charged and vehicle has been impounded. Prime Minister Mark Carney unveiling his government's new national automotive strategy today, which includes some major changes such as ending the electric vehicle mandate, but bringing back EV rebates.
The future of the auto industry is increasingly electric and connected. And so to remain competitive and to realize our potential, we must develop the entire value chain for next generation vehicles, harnessing Canada's exceptional capabilities in auto production.
And the rebates will be available starting on February 16th. The government will offer up to $5,000 for new EVs and up to $2,500 for plug-in hybrids. Now, the EV mandate introduced by the Trudeau government will be replaced with a new emissions standard. The federal government is reviving a bill that would allow health records to be shared across Canada.
It's really a great news. It's great news for doctors, for nurses, for patients.
On Wednesday, the Liberals reintroduced the Connected Care for Canadians Act. Now, originally proposed in June of 2024, the legislation is aimed at addressing the lack of common standards and incompatibility of various systems used by doctors, hospitals, and clinics across the country. Now, if passed, the new law would allow digital health information to be shared safely across systems. Well, more than half of the population of the small community of Casselman is without a family doctor. The rural municipality is struggling to recruit talent because of a lack of funding incentives. CTV's Natalie Van Roy has more.
At the Casselman Medical Center, there are 3,000 people on a waiting list for a family doctor.
It is getting to a dire situation. We have a huge waiting list of patients who do not have access to primary care.
Office Administrator Jennifer Arenas has been desperately trying to recruit doctors for years as the situation worsens.
We could easily accommodate another 3 physicians and get these patients being seen.
But one of the major challenges, Casselman doesn't score high enough on something called the Rurality Index for Ontario, which would unlock up to $120,000 in grants for doctors.
It's an incentive for them to go to rural locations. So it helps offset their costs of relocating, it helps offset their costs of education. So it's definitely an incentive to set up a practice.
There are up to 4,000 people in Casselman alone, 30 minutes outside of Ottawa. The mayor says more than half don't have a doctor.
It's very stressful for them, with an aging population that don't necessarily drive, accessing clinicians outside of the community, having to drive on the highway to get to Ottawa, to busy Ottawa locations is very stressful.
Genevieve Lajoie has appealed to the government as the situation continues to worsen.
We've asked for some sort of pilot project or some special subsidy program for Casselman, and the response was the answer is no until it's yes.
Meantime, at the medical center, they are not accepting new patients until they get more doctors, and people on the list will have to wait. Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
Well, looking to bounce back from a loss on Tuesday, the Ottawa Senators back on the ice tonight, this time in Philly, taking on the Flyers.
Pinto walks right out, shoots for our save, rebound, score!
Dick Cousins taps home the rebound midway in the second to make it 1-0 for the Sens. And late in the third, Philly, they would tie things up with less than a minute in regulation, sending this game right here to overtime. Now in the extra frame, Tim Stützle, he'll put this one to bed. Sens will win it 2-1. The Sens in the NHL will now take a 3-week break as we all pause for the Olympics.
It was an hour later, it had sold out.
Well, coming up, the popularity of Crave's original series Heated Rivalry isn't cooling down anytime soon. CTV's Sean Varden has more from a sold-out crafting and viewing party right here in Ottawa. We'll take a live look now through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. We're sitting at minus 13 degrees here in the capital. All right, we'll now also take an extended look at your forecast. A quick look at Parliament Hill and the NAC there behind me. Pretty decent night here in the capital. Jackie's got an extended look at your forecast. Jackie.
Well, overnight temperatures are going to drop down to about minus 17. Yes, the chance of flurries is in the forecast, but this won't be until the early hours of our Friday morning. Tomorrow, it will transition into periods of snow where we could anticipate between 3 to 5 centimeters. Now, tonight's lows across eastern Ontario with about minus 14 in Pembroke, as well as Petawawa, minus 12 in Kingston, as well as Brockville. And as we look towards Montreal and Mont-Tremblant, temperatures sitting around minus 18, minus 19 degrees. Tomorrow's daytime highs, well, We will be averaging still around seasonal for this time of year. Temperatures between -4, -6 degrees. So slightly cooler in Montreal, where temperatures daytime high will be -10. Now tomorrow, or I should say after tomorrow, Saturday, the chance of flurries will linger, but the temperatures will significantly drop. -15 will be the daytime high. Overnight lows into Sunday will be -23. And we're in for another minus double-digit day for Sunday, as well as Monday. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and even into Thursday, things are going to warm up closer to the freezing mark.
Well, thanks, Jackie. Well, as the weather begins to heat up, there was some heated crafting in Manor Park tonight. Dozens packing a local brew pub to raise a glass and to do some crafts at a viewing party to see what all the fuss is about for the now international streaming sensation Heated Rivalry. CTV's Sean Varden was there.
At the Manor Park Brewing Company, things are getting heated.
I kind of had an inkling that it would go fast, but I remember Kara telling me I think it was an hour later it had sold out.
A viewing party for one of the hottest shows on the planet craves Heated Rivalry. The pub packed to capacity.
I just saw a big interest in it, and I was interested in it, and I have an events business here, and so I thought it could be fun to get together with women here and just watch the show and do some crafts.
Manor Park Brewing Company stoked to be part of this, welcoming new customers to the craft beer experience.
Yeah, full house, and it's just lovely to see everybody out here, like passionate fans. And I think it's also too, you know, like the Heated Rivalry. Not that I've watched the show, but it's I know there's the Ottawa connection.
People came in, they got their Canadian snacks, and they got to do their little photo cards and watch the show. And people are just very excited to be a part of it.
So popular, February's dates and now March's are sold out, but with more to come.
Obviously, it's Canadian, so there's, with everything going on, Canadian pride. And then I think it's also a great representation of LGBTQ in like popular media, which is really important right now.
And if you're wondering what goes down best for this heated crowd,
It's a mix. There's a lot of lagers and a lot of IPAs. I think I saw some stouts going out too. Good winter drink, good hockey drink.
Sean Varden, CTV News.
This investigation also has uncovered serious allegations of criminal corruption among police officers.
York Regional Police have laid charges on 7 and 1 current retired Toronto police officer. We'll have more on this months-long investigation and connected to organized crime when we come back. Seven current Toronto police officers and 1 retired officer are facing charges in connection with an alleged murder plot and organized crime. CTV's John Musselman has the latest.
Cars in front of them just wandering down the middle of the road. Cars coming up behind.
This is police video of just one incident.
Those are our vehicles. Let's take them down right now. Contain.
That highlights the devastating allegations filed against 7 Toronto police officers and 1 retired officer.
Over the grass into a car.
Investigators allege 3 masked men attempted to murder an Ontario corrections manager at his home in York Region in June. The suspects were allegedly leaked personal information by Toronto Police Constable Timothy Barnhart.
We allege that this officer then released the information to a Mr. Brian DaCosta, and from there it was released further into other criminal networks.
The allegations against the Toronto officers include bribery, obstruction of justice, drug trafficking, theft of personal property, breach of trust, and the unauthorized access of confidential information. The information was handed over to organized criminal figures. It led to shootings in the GTA and in southern Ontario. At least 1 shooting is connected to the gun violence plaguing the tow truck industry.
This news is both shocking and completely unacceptable. Corruption has no place in policing.
Toronto Police Chief Myron Demkew calls it a painful moment for the force, and he has asked the Inspector General of Policing to investigate.
This is a painful and unsettling moment. It needs to be addressed openly, and it needs to be addressed honestly. The allegations against 7 Toronto police members and 1 retired member are deeply disappointing.
Clayton Campbell is the president of the Toronto Police Association.
If proven true, our members do not tolerate this sort of stuff. We are so indebted to the public for trust. If we don't have public trust, We have nothing.
The allegations also include officers accepting bribes to obstruct police action against illegal activity. At least 19 other civilians have been charged in connection with this investigation. Chief Demkew says he is committed to holding the accused officers accountable, and he says the Toronto Police Services Board has not asked for his resignation, considering these findings came under his leadership.
More than 400 officers took part in these internal investigations that led to these charges, and police say this investigation is ongoing. John Musselman, CTV News in York Region.
Let's get it done. This is going to be huge because they've left it so late.
Coming up, getting to the Lincoln Fields Transit Station has been quite the mission for commuters. CTV's Tyler Fleming has details on the snowy snafu. Well, February is Heart Month, and supporters of the University of Ottawa Heart Institute are helping light the capital red. Byron Property Rentals says a family emergency opened their eyes to the devastation a stroke can cause, and they want to do their part and always support the Ottawa Heart Institute. Well, a massive snowbank has been building up all winter, and some people are having to climb over it to catch their bus. This is all because the sidewalk is closed, and many are choosing to take a multi-use pathway instead, but that pathway isn't getting plowed. The footpath is located along the Kitchizibi-Meekan Parkway, and without the sidewalk, people are using that to get to Lincoln Fields Transit Station. CTV's Tyler Fleming reports.
Lately, boarding a bus at Lincoln Field Station comes with a side of mountaineering.
It's a bit of a mess.
Carling Avenue's north sidewalk is closed because of Stage 2 LRT construction, leaving transit riders with two options: crossing the road and taking the long way, or follow the frosty foot trail alongside the Kitchizibi-Meekan Parkway off-ramp. To give you an idea of what it takes to actually get onto this path from Carling Avenue, well, take a look at this. There's a traffic yield sign. I am towering over it.
Underneath that path is a beautiful paved surface.
It gets plowed by people's feet by walking, but not by the city.
But a small section of the path has been cleared at the crosswalk.
It seems weird that they would just plow this one little spot, but, you know.
It's this random mindset here that says we do a little bit here and a little bit there, and we're supposed to be happy.
Beyond the bus stop, this trail heads down a rabbit hole of peak Ottawa bureaucracy.
And why? Because the path belongs to the NCC, and they never plow, but it's going to our transit station, so we have to work with them and get it done. So it's past the buck, and it goes back to the city. Then the city tells me that it's Stage 2's responsibility.
Ottawa Councillor Teresa Kavanagh says it's been an uphill battle to have the snowbanks removed.
This is ridiculous. In terms of accessibility, it's absolutely hopeless.
But by late Thursday, crews had finally cleared a path. A solution that seemed obvious for many.
When you see a well-treaded path, you know that it is being used by people. So have a plow it.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Down at the fluff end zone, Oscar is, well, I'm not sure what he's doing.
All right, move over all you bad bunnies this weekend. This one is for the dogs. We're getting ready for the Puppy Bowl on Sunday. Plus, Jackie will be back with one more look at the forecast. We got a live look again through our Centennial Glass Sky camera, still sitting at minus 13 degrees here in the capital. Again, a little milder that we are dealing with the weather. We'll check in one more time with Jackie Perez with a look now at your wake-up weather. Jackie.
Well, we may see some flurries tomorrow, but for the most part, we may even see a little bit of sunshine, minus 17 to kick things off. But we are getting to a daytime high of about minus 6. Saturday, Sunday, though, we are anticipating temperatures to be around minus 15, 16 degrees with a little bit of the flurries lingering. I'm liking Sunday, though, with lots of sunshine, and things will start to warm up temperature-wise as we start early next week. Kimberly.
Well, thanks, Jackie. Well, on Super Bowl Sunday, a record-breaking 150 dogs from shelters littered right across the U.S. and the British Virgin Islands will compete in the 22nd annual Puppy Bowl.
Down at the fluff end zone, Oscar is, Well, I'm not sure what he's doing.
Oh, too cute. The annual event aims to promote pet adoption with adoption stories intertwined with a little friendly competition. And new this year, there will be a second half exhibition game featuring 15 senior dogs between Team Oldies and Team Goldies. Adorable. I will be checking out that for sure. All right, well, that's CTV News for this Thursday, February the 5th. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.